Everybody got food and water in here? Easter bunny? Welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name's Mark and happy Easter. Well, by the time you watch this video, Easter is probably over, but it's Sunday and we're gearing up for our annual Easter event. So we're expecting probably 250 to 300 people come by for a free event. We open the farm, we give away candy, balloon pop and donut chomp, and even chicken poop bingo. So here's the setup we have. So we have our balloons up here, all filled with candy, and they get popped. Each kid gets to pop a candy or a balloon, and then here you write your name on this sheet, and then what we do is we put a cage around the outside, a pen, and we put a couple chickens in there, probably a couple roosters maybe, and they'll poop where they may, and whoever gets their name soiled then wins a prize. And here's Tara here getting all ready. So we've got hot chocolate. We'd like to thank Tim Hortons in Oak Bank. So they have brought us a whole bunch of donuts, and we've got all our volunteers here. Hi! Yay! Yay! And we got coffee, we got hot chocolate, and all kinds of donuts. So thank you again, Tim Hortons, for your generosity. So I'm going to take some shots throughout the event, and then after that we'll get to the update on the animals. So there's a few things that happened this week, and I want to just get you updated on that. So we'll see you then. Well, the last of the volunteers are packing up and heading home. It's now 4:45, so it was a beautiful day, 20 degrees Celsius, the warmest day we've had this year. So couldn't ask for better weather. Last year it was actually a lot of snow and ice when we had the event on. So getting to the animals and the update. So some of them do have names. This is Blackie. And Blackie's kids aren't with her. So this can get confusing. So Patches, of course, has Chance, which is the little white one right behind her. And Chance is the one that was actually born by Coco, and it was triplets. So she basically abandoned her one because she was, I guess she felt she couldn't feed them. So when Patches had hers, her first one was stillborn, and then we had this, what we're kind of calling a mini patch, or a mini Patches. So she had the one, and the stillborn one, which was the first one born, we actually took the opportunity to take Chance and basically rub the placenta on her to get the scent, and Patches took her. So that was wonderful. So then there's Blackie. Now Blackie has 3 kids, and she's doing well with the 3 of them. Now one of them is here, and this one doesn't quite have a name yet. And then we have these 2 here. So this one is Coco's, one of Coco's. This was actually the first one born. And then we have, this one looks like Daisy May, which is Snow's white one. So, sorry, Daisy Bell. I'm going to get into all these names. It's hard telling these white ones apart because they're so similar. So they're up and around. They're not quite jumping and they do it in little spurts. The little jumping and playing around in spurts. So I was hoping to do a little montage of that, but I think I might have to wait to a future video. This one here is the little mini Petunia. So she looks just like her mom. They were all together at one point, and it was a lot easier. So here's Patches and her too. This one we're kind of calling Mini Carl. Hello, little Mini Carl. There's 11 of them in total. Hi, Chance. Chance. Hi. And here's another one of Blackie's. There we go. I found Snow's. It's the black one with the little white ears. You have to wait until they're kind of resting because they kind of rest with their mamas. So 11 total. Blackie had 3 and Coco had 3, but Coco abandoned one and gave that one to Patches. So basically, there's 11 of them. Blackie's taking care of triplets, and all the other mamas are taking care of twins. Hey? Now, coming to Patches. So Patches gave us a really big scare on Monday. So what had happened is she was very clumsy and her balance was all off. So on Tuesday morning we got a hold of a vet, and the vet came out to check in on her. And it turns out that she had meningitis. So he gave her a shot, and Patches is kind of one of my favorites. She's been around for quite some time, her and Snow. He gave her a shot, and we gave her some B12 as well. So we've been doing a 5-day shot on her. Today was her last day. And on that morning when the vet came, her eyes were closed and she was completely out of it. But she is 90% better. She's out, she's walking around, she's not lying down nearly as much. So it was a close call, but she's doing great. So what we had done, and some of you may have seen on the live stream, is we actually took the 2 little ones away. So of course Chance and the little mini Patches, wherever she is, there she is. The little mini Patches, we took them away. Now, one thing we had noticed about them is the stance. So you can tell when a kid goat is malnutrition and there's some concerns there. Their back is kind of hunched over. Now you can see from this little one here, back legs are nice and straight. And mini Patches here she's got some spunk, and her back legs are now straight. But if they kind of get into that weak stance where their back leg is bent, kind of like Sheldon last year, because he had quite a few concerns. So we did take these little ones into the house to bottle feed because we needed to get them some food. And then we decided the next morning that we should take and put Patches' kids back out with her because, of course, we wanted to make sure that she had her kids and she was comfortable and she had something to fight for. And she's doing great. So there are all the kids. I think I got all of them. So names of them. So we've got Chance. Chance, look at Chance. They are starting to eat grass. So they're starting to nibble on things, and they're only 2 weeks old, but they're getting right to it. And today, with all the visitors, there was a lot of clothes being gnawed on. Now, goats only have teeth on their bottom, on the bottom of their jaw. They have a palate, a bone palate on the top, which allows them to grab grass and rip it. So when they suck on your finger, it's not a concern. When they get a little bit older, if you stick your finger in a little too far, you can get those back teeth, and those ones can pinch. So that is it. The other one is Rosie. Rosie is, I believe Rosie is this one. Yeah, that one's not the Mini Carl. Mini Carl is this one over here. And you can see how close they are. But Carl has a stripe down his back. And you can see the lines on the face and on the back, right? So that is about it. 11 of them in total. We have the pond up and running. So the fountain going here, pumping up from the larger pond down at the bottom, up into this one, getting some oxygen into the water there. And yes, we will be looking at getting fish. So probably Monday, I think when Tiana's 18, she's in her last grade 12, so she drives her to school. So they'll probably on their way back take a look in the ditch for fish, and if not, then we'll just buy some feeder fish and throw them in. So there is our pond. We're gonna have to clear out some of the hay that got in here from the winter. It's pretty much cleared out here now. It is slightly green, but that's good. If we get the fish in and we can balance the ecosystem. We do have some product that is actually used in fisheries to reduce the bio load on the pond, but we want to try to do it as natural as possible. So that's that. We've got our air stone. You can see the bubbling happening over there, and that is going up. I've got to drop that hose down into the water, pull this log out. I don't know why it's there. And the windmill is spinning, and it has a air compressor in it that pumps air down the hose and goes into the pond for further aeration. And then we're going to have to do some touch-up on areas like this where we're missing some gravel, some stone, and then of course areas like on the other side of the pond here where you can actually see the sandbags holding things back. The drainage system is, where is that? That's right there. So that's the pipe that is the inlet pipe, because the water comes from that back area and it flows through here and into the pond. Now it filled up and then nicely went out the trench going out to the highway this way. So all worked well. Hi Barry, you're gonna look at me this time? And you got one of the hi guys here, always following me around the yard. Hannibal, did you get lots of pets today, Hanny? Now it's eating time, bud. Hey. All right. Oh, and we got Turbo, we got Lambert, and yeah, this is Tinker here. So, are you just chewing your cud, buddy? Oh boy, did you get lots of pets today? Oh, people were a little concerned. They saw these big sheep and they thought, can we go up and pet them? He says, oh, you definitely can. Yeah, they love being pet. Oh, Turbo, are you tired, buddy? Now, if you were wondering about Turbo's name, he was actually named because when he came in as a bottle baby, he was abandoned out in the field by his mother. He has a tag here, and Tinker also had a tag, but hers actually fell out because it tore out. Oh, sorry, bud. It tore out of the edge of the ear. So Turbo was the first one to the bottle. We got them in. They were failure to thrive out in the field, and we put them on the bottle. So he was the fastest one to the bottle, and we decided, well, let's Turbo is a fitting name. And then Tinker, or Tinkerbell. Hey, hi, Tink. Hi, how you doing? Did you have fun today? You're still here. Oh no, that's the other one. There's the other. This one I think is Hi, and the other one is Guys. And this here's Hunter. Hi, Hunter. Look at you. What are you doing with your mohawk? And Bronwyn. Bronwyn's shedding. You can see she's a haired sheep, and you can see that hair that's coming off the back. So, the pigs. Are the pigs? Oh, the pigs look like they're actually out over. They've got this new spot over there, just on the other side of the pond that they like to hang out in. Prince and Princess, how you two kids doing? Your tail feathers right in. Yeah. I'm putting the camera through a hole here, if you noticed. This was something Carl did before he went up front. He can be a little rambunctious. And then, of course, our chicken run is over there, but what we want to do is we want to open up that far side and free range them. We will be getting into the chicks inside. We were running the incubator, and we're going to have some new chickens for egg laying. The rabbits. So, relaxing in the shade. This one's a standard Rex. People have asked they should have shelters that they can go in, and they do. So this is one shelter here. It's actually, I'm not even sure, I think it's a compost, but it has a door on the other side of it. You can probably see it better on this one here, and it works great as a shelter for the rabbits. Then we've got a piece of pipe in here, some leftover, and then of course the small one in there. And they go inside to the building through that little hole there that one just came out of. And they've got a whole bunch of hay in there, which we will have to clean out. It was from the winter time, putting lots of hay in there, making sure that they're nice and cozy. All right, so here's the trench. I'm just gonna sneak over here. Petey and Piper are a little grumpy, especially Petey. But this is where they hang out over here. I'm not gonna crawl through the bush, but this is where they love to hang out. So these are two pot-bellied pigs. They came in a few years ago. They were very overweight, stomach dragging on the ground, and they lived, from what I understand, next door to a restaurant. And of course the restaurant owners would just throw food into there, and they just ate, and they had a small enclosure, and they just got fat. So them being out here, coming out, relaxing, and rooting through the dirt, getting their exercise, and basically just enjoying life. But they can be a little grumpy because they don't like to be disturbed, especially when they're sleeping. So here's another angle here from the pond, and this is the trench that it overflows into, with our little bridge over there. And then the trench just goes straight out here, and there's a culvert just over there, and there's kind of a land bridge that goes across, and it just runs right out to the highway. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what's this rabbit doing out here? So this is a little boy rabbit, and we've got a number of them bouncing around the yard. And a fun fact is domestic rabbits cannot breed with wild rabbits. So there's no concern. We wanted to have, if any of them are out, it's the boys. We don't want the girls to be out and then possibly somebody let a domestic rabbit go in the area, and then we have a whole other bunny problem happening. So these ones are up for adoption. Last year we had a total of 180-ish rabbits come in, and we're down to, I think, about 25 of them. So we have been finding quite a few homes. What are you doing? Are you still wandering around here waiting for me? You're just like Fernando in some aspects, aren't you? You just want attention. Yeah. I noticed Prince was starting to woo Princess here. Let's get out of the sun. There we go. You can see the triangle up the back here. So these are the shorter feathers that give the strength to all the other feathers that come up, and it's that actually lifts up and holds all of his other plumage forward. And he's got a little fuzzy bum. All of those fuzzy little feathers there on the back end. You're in the shade, buddy. I can't get you very good from this angle. Your girls aren't paying too much attention to you. It looks like they're just kind of looking the other direction. Oh, poor boy. We're hoping to get some chicks, some pea chicks this year. We haven't had any in a couple years. And but we'll see what happens. Prince! Wah! There you go. He's got a speaker. Wah! Turn around. A little more, buddy. So I did find them. They are way out back here. So we have Shadow over there. We have Willow. We have Marley, Paula, and Shanzy over there because Barry, the other white one, is up front. You guys grazing and finding all that new growth? And Paula's just sitting there hanging out. Hi, Paula. So this is where they hang out. In the wintertime, they don't like to go through all that snow. So they, as soon as it melts and they get back here, this is where they kind of spend their time. Now, our property is completely fenced in. You can see the house here. The driveway goes out and down there and out that way. That's our barn there. So we're basically the ones that are fenced in. We live in the center of a completely fenced in area. The boys are up front on the other side of the driveway. And we have about 1 acre in the center that, and even in that, we've got some dog pens in there as well as that front area where the kid goats were. So this goes all the way back to the railway tracks. The animals probably, of the 10 acres, they probably have probably 8.5 acres to themselves. So back in this area, probably about 6.5 acres out in the back area. So they quite enjoy that. We have been clearing up some sticks. Having the goats out here and the alpacas and other animals, sheep, they're great at clearing and keeping things cleared down. So what we've been doing is going through and taking all the small underbrush and cutting that off because the goats and sheep have eaten all the little sticks and they tend to keep it down. And that allows the trees to grow nicer and grass to actually come into this area, which you can actually see here. So you've got some grass, and that's just going to come in and grow better. Now this area, even 2 years ago, was completely closed in, and we had some volunteers that came out and cut them all off and piled them into these areas. Just kind of a natural habitat for whatever animals that will use it. So I'm back in our enclosed area, we'll call it. This is a play structure that we had years ago. We repurposed it. The Enola school was upgrading their play structure because the other one was deemed dangerous. And it was the old wood one. There was some nails sticking out. So we got all the pieces and put them together, and this was, oh boy, that was quite a few years ago. Probably looking at 15 years ago. And then we put some new pieces on. We bought a slide. And you can actually see how wonky this is here. And the reason why it looks like that is because it was I believe it was a forklift or something they stuck in and lifted it out with. So it kind of bent everything up. But hey, you know, the kids love it. They don't care that it's a little wonky. So out here we got a few roosters wandering around, and we have the Guinea tick patrol. They are doing their job. We haven't had a tick here on the property in over 2 years. I had one last year, but it ended up I went to the dump to take a load there, and I had to walk through some tall grass, and when I got home I found a tick on me. So if there are any ticks, there's another, actually that's the same rabbit we saw earlier. A couple more guineas there. And the boys. What are the boys doing? Well, I can't seem to find the boys anywhere. They must be way up front. Now, what was interesting that happened this past week as well is we had a turkey show up. Look who has joined us on the farm. That is not Fernando. That is a wild tom. From the beard on the front, I would say he's probably about 3 or 4 years old. See you later, buddy. Okay, so I've made it to the front of the property. That's our driveway that goes in. And this is, we live on the end of an access road. So you can see the access road here. Then it turns onto a stop sign here. And then we have a highway that runs along here. So this is all fenced in along the property line. And then it goes down to the end and goes right down the driveway. And I saw them. I was looking for them. We got some garbage we're gonna have to pick up. Looks like some styrofoam. Do a spring cleanup with stuff that blows off of the highway and out of the ditch. And here's the boys here. Well, there's Carl. Hi, Carl. Carl, there's Bobby. Oh, and there's Billy back further. Well, I don't want to go walk through there. Carl, you want to come say hi to everybody? Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Hi. Yeah, I don't want to fight today. I don't want to play. Yeah. You want to just rub up against me? That's what what he's doing is he's putting his scent on me. So that's his thing. Aren't you? Yes. You're a silly boy. Okay, you're going to push me over. Yeah, so the trick with male goats is he's going to do his thing and rub up against me. You don't want to play with his horns. You don't want to hit his horns. You don't want to move him around by his horns because that just means it's time to fight. So you just let him do his thing because he's such an animal. Oh, here's the boys. Hi. So this is Bobby. Bobby has a collar on him. And the reason why he has a collar on him is because he has an owner and we're goat sitting over the winter. And his owner is going to work on getting some electric fences done up. And he is likely or possibly going to go back with Blackie. So that might be an option there. Now his mates got eaten because there were no electric fencing or any kind of fencing around the property. So she did not want to lose Bobby, and she brought him over here. So he is a weathered or fixed male. And then Billy. Hi, Billy. So I love the raccoon look of his beard. He has such an interesting beard, don't you, buddy? Yeah, and you're just going to rub up against me too, aren't you? Yeah. I'm just going to lick the salt off my hand. Now he broke his horn last year when he came back. He smacked it on something. Well, it healed up nicely. So as I'm walking back, I'm looking at these pine trees here, and you can see how they've eaten them. And here, you want some of that? So pine needles are a natural dewormer. We don't deworm any of our animals. Well, we don't deworm them with chemicals and products and things of that nature. We did give Patches some medication, but that was, okay, you're going to play with it, are you? But that was because she was ill and she needed it for her life. This, because it's acidic, it works as a natural dewormer. So it's nice to have, if you have some animals in an area, to have pine trees. And we do have quite a few pine trees sparsely around, just naturally, in this front area of the property. You can see there's some larger ones, of course, there, and that's what's seeding all of these smaller ones. So if you've been watching the video for a while, you'll know that we do save Christmas trees, as long as they don't have any tinsel or any kind of fake snow or anything on it. Then it's completely it's completely edible for the goats. What? No, I'm not gonna play. Just keep walking, boy. So yeah, I'm just gonna give in and say, okay, yeah, you're the boss, buddy. Yeah, no, I'm not playing. No, I'm not gonna go there. So we've had quite a few hatch out, probably about 50% of them. Top tray and bottom tray. Now the middle tray, there is one in the back. These are the quail eggs that we had bought at the store just to try out. And none of them seemed viable, although there was one in the back that I noticed was cracked. And I thought, oh, well, one's gonna hatch. There it is. But Tiana took a closer look at it, and what it looks like is it actually burst. It ruptured and it broke away. It looked a little odd because it was a little flap door instead of a rough peck, as if a chick was pecking out of it. So it looks like none of them were viable. So it was a fun thing to do, but we did it, and now it's time to move on. The chicks. So here are the little chicks. Hey guys. So some of them have, these were, people had given us some eggs to hatch out. They had a bunch. And we want to add some more hens to our flock for eggs. And of course some of these are roosters. Now the way to tell with the roosters and the hens is this one here is a, are you standing up all right? I'm going to have to keep an eye on some of these to make sure they don't have splay leg. But this one here has little feathers coming in. So if they've got feathers coming in, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one and make sure that it can walk. We put down newspaper because it's a lot. Oh, what are you going to run? We put down newspaper so they could walk on it easier, so it wasn't as slippery. But after a day to 2 days old, if you look at the tips of the wings, you'll see the feathers come in. That's how, on most chickens, you can tell that it is a hen. If it takes about a week, and after a week, then you see, I believe it's the tips of the wings and the tail feathers, then that's a male. Apparently males don't evolve as fast as females. So there's a shot at us men. But here we go. So most of these, I think, are, they're kind of a mixture. Americanas, I see a little white one in there, but I believe a lot of them are fairly, like they're a mixture. Now, one thing you want to keep an eye on with a heat lamp to get the height, the proper height. So you can see here we don't have chicks directly underneath the light. We've got them kind of spread around the outside. You don't want them way out far away from it because then you know it's too low. But if you have them all huddled right underneath the heat lamp, then you know you have to lower it a bit. So this looks like a perfect spacing for the heat. They can go in and out. Now we have brought our crippled chick out. So she was born at a school, and they actually took her out of the egg because she couldn't come out on her own, and there is a reason for that. So her legs or her feet are flipped backwards. So she's hanging out here with these ones. We did have one like this last year, and really there's no way of somebody had mentioned, well, it looks like splay leg. It's a little bit further off than splay leg, so her knuckles are actually flipped around on her legs. And that's it. There you go, little chickies. So a common question that we get is, do we eat our animals? No, we don't eat our animals. They're all pets. We're not homesteaders. We were at that stage years ago. You know, which way are we going to go? Growing your own food, that's a great idea. Unfortunately, when we raise our animals and we get bonded with them, we can't really eat them. So all of these animals, no, we don't eat them. We do eat the chicken eggs. It's great to have fresh farm eggs, and we don't milk the goats. We just don't have that taste for it. There is an acquired taste to goat's milk, and we let the mamas give it to their babies, so we don't need to take that away from them. So I think that's it. If you have any other questions about this or any other episode, please leave it down below in the comments. We love to hear from you and answer any questions and share what we know. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing, and you can click on that little bell there for notifications when we do post new videos and also when we do live streams. We have been doing a live stream. There's one on now, I think, out in the yard. That's going to be likely ending around the time this video comes out, but we will be doing more live streams out in the yard throughout the summer. There's a lot of people who live in the city or just can't get out much, and they love to see the animals. So until next video, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.